PhDs in management and is also a part of the Clean Ganga mission under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. He's one of the founder members of the Pune Public Policy Festival. A very warm welcome, Siddharth. I have a distinct privilege to introduce our speaker, Mr. Nara Lokesh ji. If you've heard him speak publicly before, you will be very excited to what comes on the stage now. He's the cabinet minister in the government of Andhra Pradesh, leading key portfolios including information technology, electronics and communications, real-time governance, and human resources development with a focus on education. In his role, he's spearheading the state's effort to position Andhra Pradesh as a global hub for technology, innovation, and skilled talent. A prominent leader of the Telugu Desam Party and its General Secretary, he represents the Mangalagiri constituency in the Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly. Under his leadership, the state has attracted major investments, accelerated digital infrastructure initiatives, and rolled out reforms aimed at improving education quality, strengthening skills, and expanding employment opportunities. He's a Bachelor of Science from the Carnegie Mellon and has done his MBA from the Stanford Graduate School of Business. Please welcome to stage Mr. Nara Lokesh ji. So we have a customary stole that represents the festival and the stage is all over, Siddharth.
Thank you, Pushkar. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be here today, and we are very grateful to have the Minister join us today at the third edition of the Pune Public Policy Festival. And when we were thinking about the theme for this event, that is decoding technology and society, when we were brainstorming, many names used to come to our mind that who could be the right person that can disseminate the knowledge and give a perspective of what we want to cover. But there was a common consensus and everyone said yes. And when we spoke about the minister's name, that was when we thought that yes, we wish the minister comes here, and that's why we are very honored and privileged to have him here. To begin with, let me just try to understand, are there any people from Andhra Pradesh in the audience? Oh, great. So I have a quiz for you, if you can indulge me for a moment. I'm going to say a number. You can let me know if you recognize that number. That's 95523 00009. Does that number ring a bell? So for us, in Maharashtra or rest of India, this might seem like an innocent mobile number. And by the way, it's not the minister's number, so I'm not violating any privacy here. But this number for us, as I said, it's a noble mobile number, but for over 9.5 crore Andhra population, people living there, domiciled at Andhra, this is a gateway to enormous amount of government services and access in their WhatsApp. So through WhatsApp, the platform was in Manamitra. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Manamitra platform is able to engage with the citizens in more than now 700, more than 1,000 services across more than 36 departments, I expect. And this is one-stop shop, or I said a gateway to the people of Andhra Pradesh to access their IDs, their property tax certificates, their caste certificates, education halls, bus tickets, healthcare services, and everything. So I think the Manamitra platform has been a transformational development in the development of Andhra Pradesh as a state. And it was initiated by the minister just about a year back, I suppose. So I think the theme of the Public Policy Festival, what we are doing today, is very much in line with what the minister is initiating in the state. So my first question I would think about for the minister would be that, you have deployed technology extensively for governance in Andhra Pradesh. And we here, outside of the state, we always follow the model of Andhra Pradesh when it comes to any kind of tech interventions in all aspects, but especially also in governance. So, can you give us a sense of the outlook towards tech-enabled governments, where we stand right now, what do you think are the possibilities going forward with the advent of new technologies, with blockchain 2.0 and so on and so forth, and some of the initiatives that have been very impactful?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. You pretty much answered the first question with explaining about Manamitra, so I'll not go back to it. But in Andhra Pradesh, we use technology as an enabler to sort of take not only policies to the citizen, but actually look at how we can serve them better. While other states have different maturity levels, Andhra, I believe, is a bit ahead on the curve. If you look at a few examples, I mean, we can go about it all day, but I would like to give a few specific examples of what we are trying to do in Andhra Pradesh. If anyone has followed Mr. Naidu's, our Chief Minister's speech pre-2024 election, he's been talking about skill census. While entire country has been talking about caste census, he's been talking about skill census. And then after we were elected, he gave the task to me. And like a typical politician, I went about saying, let's do this traditional way of doing a census. I did it in my constituency, Mangalgiri, and rest assured we fell flat. We can't really assess skills across close to about 400 odd traits and the amount of depth that it requires. Then came the entire discussion of how can we use conversational AI as the base to do what I call a skill assessment. Census is a very far-fledged word, at least skill assessment, the level at which they are. So think about it like any job portal on steroids, where it's not only about supply and demand aggregation, but we are now using conversational AI to assess the skill level of a carpenter, of a AC mechanic or a lift mechanic. This is the power of technology. We just launched it. We are just about completing our pilot. Before India hosts the AI conference, I think in March, we expect at least about 500,000 youngsters to actually be assessed. Two, we are using the same portal to do mock interviews, where we can enable our children who just finished their collegiate education to actually sort of get these mock interviews, tests, and how can they be confident when they go for an interview, because this is probably one of the very first interviews that they're doing in their life. So this is one example of how we are able to use AI and technology far better and really solving true problems. And that's something that we've sort of set ourselves apart. In terms of land records is something that plagues India. It's a huge challenge for us, quality of a land records. Andhra is no different. Governments are to be blamed. We come out with reforms which we think will transform it, and we end up actually hurting it more than we've sort of changed. That's where we believe now technology like blockchain can help us. So we are in the process now to bring all land records onto blockchain, where there is traceability, because historically technology has been used to change titles overnight for a period of 24 hours and then revert it. So these are things that we've also struggled with as a state, and that's where blockchain is being used. Government services being delivered. Yes, 1,000 services are on a single WhatsApp number, and I believe that's just the beginning. I call it, we're testing the water, where generative AI can actually be used to deliver better services.
And with a familiar platform.
With a very familiar platform. India runs on WhatsApp. My life runs on WhatsApp. And we can actually build this out. And this is where I believe what Andhra is doing is actually creating a platform tomorrow that we can actually take it to the national level. And that's the kind of work that we're doing. And this is just the beginning of what I believe that technology and governance can truly transform things.
Wonderful. Now, since you mentioned the land issue, I think when in the last 1 year, we have been a lot of news flashes we received that Google is attracted to Andhra Pradesh, TCS was attracted to Andhra Pradesh. So I don't want to ask you about the secret sauce, what got them there. But in terms of the policy that you have adopted, especially the lift policy, if you can elaborate a bit on that, and as you rightly pointed out, that land acquisition and land records have been a big bottleneck for our development. So how Andhra Pradesh is looking at that being a state subject, Andhra Pradesh, what policies Andhra Pradesh has adopted, whether technology interventions have been used there to enable, such large corporates to enter the market, enter the state and have the right access when it comes to land, and land should not become a bottleneck. I think that has been your flagship policy.
So, two questions. I'll answer the first one. Why Andhra Pradesh? Three distinct reasons. One, we have a leadership with proven track record. Mr. Naidu, our Chief Minister, requires no introduction. He's built Cyberabad. He's doing that magic all over again in Andhra Pradesh, this time decentralized. Number one. Number two, speed of doing business. So once we agree that project is going to be done in Andhra Pradesh, it no longer is an entrepreneur's project, it becomes a shared vision. So we live, we dream, we work with them in terms of execution. That's how we got ArcelorMittal to do India's largest steel plant in Andhra Pradesh, Google's data center project and various other initiatives. Third, we have double engine bullet train sarkar. Yeah. Quite a few governments have double engine sarkars, we have double engine bullet train sarkar. So we have Namo, Naidu ji and Modi ji together. So both of them together are there. That's why I say we have double engine bullet train sarkar, and we're able to positively move policy at the national level in the interest of the nation and the state. And this is not new to our party. Though we are a regional party, we have always had India at heart. Yes. If you look at the way we worked with Vajpayee ji, under his leadership, Mr. Naidu contributed a lot in terms of policy reform at the federal level, central government level. And this is the same role we are playing all over again under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So three distinct reasons why we are able to attract investments. Coming to lift policy, this has been I must say, a mildly controversial policy. This is a bold decision, and this is where all of you should really look at things in a very hard way. So when I became the IT minister, whenever I used to meet an entrepreneur, they used to say, yes, you have talent. Yes, you'll give me water, you'll give me power, I understand that. Yes, Andhra has land, but Andhra's land is expensive. And this was one conversation I had in last Davos with Cognizant. And they said, see, I would love to come to Visakhapatnam, but your land is expensive. I know you have land, but it's expensive. So what can you do for me? So I took Ravi, the CEO, to the side and said, I'll do it in 99 paise. And this did not back then have the backing of my Chief Minister. But I knew that if I clinch Cogsy, he will agree to it. So this was my promise to Ravi, saying that I'll give it to you at 99 paise. It's not a lease, it is not per acre, it's whatever extent of land you need. And we have a rule, we have to create 500 jobs for every acre of land we give. As long as you deliver on that promise, I'll give it to you at 99 paise. I went to the cabinet, I fought for it. My Chief Minister challenged me saying, just because you give land at 99 paise, do you think you can land companies? I said, I believe it. I fought for that initiative. As a one-off, we did it for Cognizant, and that opened floodgates. And then I realized that quickly we need a policy now. It needs a framework. Because we've done that for IT companies. Whilst other companies like ArcelorMittal has taken land at market value. So it's about the kind of jobs that you create. Because see, IT, for every IT job, there are 5 indirect jobs that get created. So it's a huge economic multiplier in that sense. Whilst other companies have different ratios in terms of economic activity they can do. Another company that we've done this with is in space. There's a company where they came and the entrepreneur said, we can't do it at this price, but you should give it to us at lower price. We did it. Because we believe that they were the catalyst for the entire space city ecosystem. So this is where, as all of us are here discussing about policy, it requires a certain amount of boldness and your ability to back that policy. And the beauty is, policies are already stood the test of judiciary. So there were people who went to the court, filed a public interest litigation, and the court threw it out saying that it is in the interest of public. And now there's a clear policy in place. So that's what makes, again, Andhra Pradesh very unique, and the leadership of Mr. Naidu very unique.
Brilliant. And one point I would like to add what I've heard about the speed of doing business. I mean, one area is about, we often talk about ease of doing business. But I think in India, from the government side, the speed of doing business or speed of supporting business is also very crucial. So I was reading a statistics, and we were discussing with someone that for let's say a GCC, for land permit or acquiring a land and getting all the permits in place for construction, the average time in Andhra Pradesh is a few days versus at least a few months in other parts of the country. So I think the boldness with which the government is moving forward is really commendable. If you can elaborate a little more on the speed of doing business and some instances that you have when it comes to technology, how technology is being used to improve the speed of governance, speed of supporting businesses. I think that will also enlighten the audience.
So this entire speed came about in a car where I was driving Chandraji back to the airport. So the chairman of Tata Sons, sir, is vice chairman of our economic council. So as soon as our government came in, he came to call on the chief minister. So I was driving sir back to the airport. I said, because I wouldn't get 45 minutes with him otherwise. So I said, chalo, let me now get in the car, let me talk to him. So I said, what is your advice to me? I asked Chandra sir, what is your advice to me? He said, speed. Because today, even a medium enterprise is investing thousands of crores in capital expenditure. And a 6-month delay in government inefficiency is going to throw the entire business plan out. Now think about it from Tata's perspective. We are doing billions of dollars of investment. Said speed is what you should deliver. And when I came back and I briefed the Honorable CM, this was the advice given. He started living, breathing it day in, day out. And he's made it our culture. So we all started talking about it. Every minister, every bureaucrat. It's now ingrained into our head that speed is what should differentiate us from other state governments. That's the first thing. So the culture is very important. While technology, WhatsApp or in website is there, if the government does not believe in it or the bureaucrats don't believe in it, if the culture is not there, you're going to fail. So the first ingredient is the culture, and that I believe we got it right. Technology bit, I believe we should do more. Well, yes, we have a single portal, we have a Manamitra where a lot of permissions are given. Now we are looking at every regulation, and I'm working with industry leaders to give me feedback. So I'm looking at, the head of logistics, India's best logistics player, to give me input. Ki boss, how do I relook at my entire regulation around it? How do I transform my RTA better? So we are going with it very systematically of transforming every regulation that is there, every act that is there. And we want to lead the reform from the front. And again, that makes us very unique. The third bit is WhatsApp. So I'm on close to about 26 groups, WhatsApp groups. These are not your family groups, these are actually business groups. So we have one for ArcelorMittal, we have one for Google. So all major investments in Andhra Pradesh are personally tracked, monitored. I update to the global leadership of these companies that here is the status report. We are heading to Davos, we are meeting with all these companies. I'm going with my notes because if you look at certain entities like Tata's, right, they're investing across sectors from data center to solar cell manufacturing. So I go to Chandra sir with an update. Because, these are all the businesses, this is the status update, these are the timelines. So we have a very regimented approach, a very private sector bent of mind in that sense, of how we should not only sort of sign an MOU, but actually ensure that these projects are grounded. And all of you will be surprised, we actually don't have an MOU with ArcelorMittal. We don't have an MOU. We said it's waste of time. It's a waste of paper. And Aditya and I agreed about Andhra Pradesh on one Zoom call. So as soon as our government came in, I heard that ArcelorMittal was looking for an alternative location. I knew Adit for a long time, so I reached out to him. He said, okay, let's do a Zoom call. He had 3 specific asks. 2 of them had to do with the government of Andhra Pradesh, 1 with government of India. So our call was at 6:30 in the evening. And I said, normally I meet the Honorable CM in the morning at about 9:30. I said, I'll talk to him. I'll give you an update. 10:30, I said, all 3 are done. It's our responsibility to do it. And literally, after a Zoom call on one WhatsApp message, we clinched it. EC clearance is expected this week. This month or Feb, we're going to lay foundation to India's largest steel plant. So land is done. So we got the land. incentive package is agreed. They have paid for the R&R package. Environmental clearance is now coming in. All this done in about 15-16 months. Again, Google is a great example. They wanted some clarity in terms of regulation, taxation. And we worked with our Honorable Finance Minister, Nirmala Sitharamanji. So the Honorable Chief Minister spoke to the Honorable Prime Minister, explained why this is not just about Andhra, but this is about India. And how geopolitically we can play a very important role by having data centers on our shore, on our soil. So we were able to do that. We were able to positively influence policy. And it's no longer just about one Google. It applies to Amazon, it applies to everyone else. So that's the kind of positive framework in which we actually work in terms of moving the needle even on the policy side of things.
So I want to shift gears regarding the point you made about data centers and moving to your pet project on the Quantum Valley. But before that, one question that came to my mind was you spoke about the deregulation that you're initiating at the state. The central government, in last budget, they have set up a deregulation commission. And I think the central government has also recognized that the path to faster growth and goal towards Vikasit Bharat is how fast we can deregulate a lot of the sectors, decriminalize also a lot of the sectors. And I think the leadership that Andhra Pradesh has taken, there will be a lot of case studies from there. Because I think the center has done a lot of heavy lifting in the last 1 year. Now the states have to do their part by easing regulation. And so kudos to Andhra Pradesh for initiating that. Now, your pet project, the Quantum Valley, Amravati Quantum Valley, I think this has, it's really exciting when we hear about Amravati Quantum Valley. But frankly, including me, I don't think many people are aware what it actually is and what the significance of the Quantum Valley will be for the state as well as for the country. So if you can just enlighten us.
I think it will be very unfair to say Quantum Valley is my pet project. Quantum Valley is the pet project of my Honorable Chief Minister. So he called me one day and said, I want to create the quantum ecosystem. And he's talking to me. I'm sitting opposite to him. I went on ChatGPT saying, give me a quick note on quantum computing. Because I honestly didn't know what it was. And I've publicly stated this multiple times. So Mr. Naidu is known to be a very keen listener. So it was IIT Madras, Vice Chancellor gave that input to him that quantum is the next frontier technology. Then he internalized it, he understood it, and then he calls his minister. Though a Stanford MBA who had no clue about quantum. And thanks to ChatGPT, I had a quick summary. But then again, in his true spirit, right? Mr. Naidu's energy is very infectious. So he's 75-year-old Chief Minister, but we jokingly say there are 3 25-year-olds in him. That is the kind of energy he has. And then he lives it, he breathes it. And then he'll chase us down. So you'll be surprised. So he'll drop me a message, yeah boss, this is pending, just take a look at it. And then I'll get a reminder exactly after 45 minutes, kaam ho gaya, nahi ho gaya. So that is the speed at which he works and he expects all of us to work. So it's his dream. Right? The entire quantum ecosystem was his dream. And then he got this to us. So like his energy is more infectious than COVID. And it comes to all of us. And then now we all start living and dreaming it. So it started with him. Then we all sat together. We got the universities together, global institutions together. And you'll be surprised that Mr. Naidu managed to convince IBM to bring South Asia's first 150 qubit quantum computer free of cost to Amravati. Free of cost. So this is a project between, again, TCS, IBM, IIT Madras. And we only are doing the enabling mechanism, which is, giving power at a subsidized price or giving real estate at subsidized price. So we can think creatively in terms of building the ecosystem. So bringing the quantum computer is just the beginning. Now Mr. Naidu's challenge to all of us is, boss, India should make its own quantum computer. Research mein kya karna hai? So as you rightly said, Government of India is really working very systematically in creating frameworks, giving us the required funds. But then all these projects have to be led at the state level. So India's quantum mission has come only to a certain extent. But after Andhra announced its quantum mission, every state is sort of chasing that dream. But Andhra is now ahead. So we're getting use cases out there. We're working with institutions. As an education minister, now we're getting the entire curriculum going around quantum. And then I'm going and attracting all the companies that go about building the value chain, the verticals of the quantum ecosystem. So that's the kind of work that we're doing. And this is not just in quantum. We're doing it with as simple things as glass, building a glass city, space city, electronic city, compressed biogas city, medical devices manufacturing. So we're doing this across almost 22 sectors in a very, very clear, defined way.
I think the continued reference to the speed with which the Chief Minister and yourself you are working, I think that also shames a lot of us private sector companies. And we really need to learn from your government how speed matters and how we can implement in our businesses. So when you spoke about the quantum value, you also used the word ecosystem. And I think that is also going to be very key, because when you wish to build a cluster, you need to have the supportive services, not just the manpower, but the other supporting services, which, as you said, becomes an economic multiplier. So we know about Bangalore, we know about San Francisco, where the clusters evolved. Now, what is your strategy, I would say, to, how do you see that ecosystem getting built in Amravati and perhaps also Vishakhapatnam going forward? And what are some of the incentives that you're working towards that? Because ultimately for the ecosystem to build, you need to get people there and build that social stickiness also there. So how do you think this can be brought about, and what learnings you could have for other states of India?
No, I truly believe that the way we are sort of attracting investments and sort of seeding them as a nation, there's a lot that we should do. I believe in the power of the ecosystem, and I call it vertical and horizontal integration in a cluster. Now, what do I mean by vertical and horizontal integration? Let's take mobile phone as a great example. You need the housing, you need the screen, the haptic engine, the Li battery, the packaging material, the accessories and all. My belief is that all this should be in a 100-kilometer radius ecosystem. This is what I call the verticals that go into this ecosystem. Now, horizontal is where, again, my ministry plays a very important role, education. So do have content ready, curriculum in place. Are my ITI polytechnics doing their job in creating blue-collar employees, training them, certification? Then all these companies need to get their equipment certified. Is that ecosystem there? I'm sure none of you know one fact. 50% of India's air conditioners get manufactured in Andhra Pradesh. 50%. With LG, Blue Star and Daikin now coming in, it will go to 70% in the next 2 years. But then I'm now running behind them. I'm like, okay boss, give me the curriculum. Because you need workforce. You define the curriculum. We will implement it. We'll go about doing it. Then I'm working with the sort of testing agencies, certification agencies. Because if I have to send the heat pump to Europe, every time I make any changes, I need to send the pump and the engineer to Europe. It costs me $500,000 for the companies. It doesn't make any sense. Why can't that be here? Because then I'm making 70% of India's air conditioning. Now take this to the next level. We're doing this with glass. We're doing this with the space ecosystem. We're doing it with this electronics manufacturing, compressed biogas, medical devices manufacturing, pharma, data city, quantum, about 22 such verticals. 8 out of 10 solar panel manufacturers are setting up their facilities in Andhra Pradesh. 3 of them have already started construction. Another 3 of them were cleared a month back. 2 of them got cleared in the last cabinet, which was yesterday. That includes Tatas. 8 of them are doing. Now I have to build the entire ecosystem. So we're going about it very systematically, working with them, and then that's where education and all the supply chain sort of falls into place. And this is very important, not only for Andhra, but for India. And that's where I believe that we have to do a very systematic approach as a nation.
So, in addition to the ecosystem development, what you mentioned, I think we also need to look at how do we run these data centers in a sustainable way. And we all know that data centers consume a lot of energy. They need a lot of water for cooling. So how do these measures, what kind of measures the state government is looking at to look at sustainable development of these data centers and these clusters, and anything that you might have written into the land allotment records to ensure that the energy benchmarks and the water usage benchmarks are followed?
See, now every global company an Indian company, is looking at ESG as a very important responsibility. So they are equally interested in making investments sustainably. What makes Andhra Pradesh again very unique is our renewable energy ecosystem. So we have solar, we have wind, and we have the pump storage projects. So I can give RTC renewable energy. And all these projects, one is already, 2 gigawatt PSP is already operational. Close to about now 20 gigawatts of PSP is going to become operational in the next almost 5 to 7 years. So I can give round the clock renewable energy at a price point that the world has never seen. So we are blessed with good terrain. So we have good terrain where all these projects can be seeded. We have good radiation. Andhra has, our summers are quite warm. So we have that advantage, and we have good wind zones. The southern part of Andhra is very good wind zones. So again, they're meticulous execution, making sure we deliver on a promise of renewable energy, and building out again the green grid, where this energy can move to Vizag in different parts of India, and RTC renewable energy can be delivered. So that's where sustainability comes in. So yes, there will be a certain amount of base load that will be powered by gas, thermal, and fossil fuel. But the greater part of it is actually going to be renewable, and we are quite clear on it. And this is a conversation that we have had with all the companies that are making investments in the data city. That part is clear. In terms of water, again, if you look at Andhra, we have two major rivers, Krishna and Godavari. Krishna, there is water shortage, but Godavari has a lot of surplus. So thousands of TMC actually go waste every year. Now, Polavaram project is getting built to harness that. We're looking at a lift irrigation projects where we're going to bring all that water to different parts of not only Andhra Pradesh, we can actually deliver water to Tamil Nadu and even Karnataka. So that is the way we're looking at it. So linking of rivers is going to be very, very critical in the long run. Water security is going to be very, very important. So CM's view is very clear. Not even a drop of water should go to the ocean. So we have to harness it, we have to store it. Again, we're using technology there to figure out how to move water cost effectively within the existing irrigation grid. So that's where we already have a lot of water, especially the northern part of the state has a surplus amount of water. So our ability to use it, harness it is going to be very important. And more as investments happen in the data center ecosystem, right? And globally I've seen even companies like Intel, where they're now using air-cooled systems. Very, very cost-effective solutions. So more and more you will see cost-effective
for the data centers.
For data centers. So more and more cost-effective solutions are now coming about. So there will be transformation even in that sector.
Great. The other area I would also like to touch upon is you have also been a very active supporter and initiator of process reforms for industrialization across Andhra Pradesh state. There are some, I've heard about some process reforms that you have initiated, and in fact, the Chancellor of Gokhale Institute, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, he has also initiated a lot of process reforms at the center, which are also helping the states. As you make the state pitch for investment, it is also inherent that investment would be looking at other green pastures outside of Andhra Pradesh, and you would be competing with a lot of states. So what do you think is the secret sauce that Andhra Pradesh offers, and why a lot of companies now are choosing Andhra Pradesh versus other states, especially from a deregulation, from a process reforms perspective that you see?
See, when states compete, India wins. That is my single mantra.
Brilliant.
States have to compete, then India wins. And competition is good. It makes us all fit. If states are complacent, we are going to lose. So today, if you look at investments, after Andhra Pradesh, it's Orissa that's attracting a lot of investments. Whoever thought about it? But they're doing amazing work. So for me, I know, okay, that's one state I need to watch out. Maharashtra is doing some amazing work. That's another state I need to watch out. So everyone is now starting on this reform cycle, and I believe that Andhra Pradesh should be number one. So in labor, we've done a lot of work. In speed of doing business, in single window clearance, we've done substantive work. But I believe it's just the beginning. I think we have to do a lot more to really deliver in spirit on the speed of doing business. So that's where I believe we differentiate. But the most fundamental thing is the culture and the approach of the political system and the bureaucratic system, that speed is the metrics on which we will all be measured on, is what makes us very unique. And please understand that policy changes have to happen, but it can only happen when there is a clear political will and backing. So what all of you see today is, yes, Andhra Pradesh is back, Andhra Pradesh is competing, we are number one in attracting investments. Yes, but a lot of political changes have happened before it. 50% of our MLAs who won in 2024 are first timers. 50%. 17 out of the 25 ministers are first timers. So I am actually one of the senior minister in Mr. Naidu's cabinet. It's not my grey beard. It's my second term. So that's the kind of political change that has come in before we were able to lead in terms of government. So this is very, very important. While the chief minister might have a vision and willingness to do it, his political team should back it. Every minister should live, breathe that vision. And I believe this is something that we all underestimate in India. So yes, single window clearance is important. Yes, having a single website on which we can get everything done is important. No second thoughts about it. AI is going to play an important role. WhatsApp will play an important role. But please also understand that the political support is very, very important. I believe it's actually one of the more primary pillars, where your legislatures, your ministers are supporting the vision of the government and the chief minister. Only then can such projects get grounded, seeded, executed to the level that India actually should execute.
So when we talk about ease of doing business and speed of doing business, the other aspect that comes to my mind is the foreign direct investment into the country. Over the last 1 year, we have seen the issues associated with rupee depreciation, rupee volatility, and a lot of the economists and experts that we hear from, one of the underlying major factors has been the net inflows of FDI as a percentage of the GDP, which is affecting the rupee volatility. And a lot of FDI coming to India, which is the sticky capital versus the fleeting capital, what is FPIs. That sticky capital or FDI, foreign direct investment, they need certainty, they need ease of doing business, they need simple rules to build and run factories. And the center can only do so much. And the states have to do the heavy lifting. They have to pick up the mantle to ensure that FDI comes to the states, which benefits India as a whole. So from your perspective, given your experience with Google, that was a huge investment, a huge proud moment for the whole country. How do you think states should look at attracting FDI? And as you rightly said, when states compete, India wins. So how can more states compete with each other? What states can learn from each other when it comes to attracting more FDI, which will benefit the country and also give some stability to the currency fluctuation that we have seen over the last 1 year?
One thing I'm already noticing is states are competing. I think it's very unfair to say if we are not. Recently you would have seen my Twitter fight also on it. But I think that's good. That's good for the nation. Saying that execution is going to be critical.
Yes.
While signing and announcements are great, the political will to ensure that these projects are executed at the pace at which these companies want to do it is going to be critical. So there's greater responsibilities on the state to ensure that that is delivered.
Yes.
Government of India is creating amazing policies, frameworks. They're willing to relook at regulation. When I went on and spoke to the Honorable Finance Minister, Nirmala Madam, on a certain issue with regards to this particular project that we're discussing, she was extremely positive. She's like, yes, we'll do it. We'll get it done. So they're willing to change. They're willing to listen. They're willing to give guarantee, bring that policy stability that FDI is looking for. So that's something that's very important. And states are doing it. But I also believe that there's greater responsibility on the electorate. So Andhra, if you look at it, between 19 to 14, 19 to 24, sorry, certain state agreements were reneged. So PPAs were cancelled. Certain companies were, for lack of better word, harassed. So it's important that the electorate also understands it. Because see, we are a very young democracy. And majority of our voters will also be first time voters now. So it's very, very important that they understand the importance of continuity of government. So, and understand the importance of long-term vision. Because to be fair, all the, I keep telling my team, all the MOUs or all the investments that we land in the first 2 years are the only investments where I can show progress before I go for electoral cycle. The large investments. Because after the 2 years, we will land, but results will come beyond my electoral cycle. So it's very, very important that even the electorate understands this. And as politicians, you also explain it better. That continuity of government is very, very important. If you look at even erstwhile Andhra Pradesh, right? If you look at Hyderabad's development, the continuity of government in 1999. So Mr. Naidu became the Chief Minister in 95, went for an election in 99. And that gave tremendous amount of momentum for erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. And that's how Microsoft, ISB, all that magic sort of kindled, and they were the catalyst and the trigger to sort of roll things out. So that is equally important. Yeah, I love questions.
Okay, so I think
We can take.
we have some time, so we'll open up for some questions
Can we
for
go
the
at the
minister,
back,
and we'll be
please?
very specific and to the topic at hand, please.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire, but to the topic at hand, technology and society. At the back,
Obi, to your left.
Yeah. In the interest of time, we'll cap it at 5 questions if everyone's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the excellent session. I was waiting for this for quite long. I have 3 quick short questions. You have multiple portfolios which you are handling. All these portfolios are selected by you or offered by the CM? That is my question number 1. Sub-question to this is how the combination of all these ministries centered at one place is facilitating the growth of Andhra Pradesh. My second question is how you are leveraging the NRIs from let's say Andhra Pradesh or Telangana in terms of their talent, treasure for the development of Andhra Pradesh. That's my second question. And the third question is, apart from Chandrababu Naidu, like who all chief ministers would you interact for any developmental issues?
thank you, sir.
So, I'm sure all of you would have read my bio. But one thing all of you should also realize is I always choose the road less traveled. So, in 2019, I chose a constituency that my party has not won since 1985, and I lost. I lost with 5,300 votes. First time electoral debut, I lost. I stuck at that constituency for 5 years. I worked hard and I won it with the 3rd highest majority ever in Andhra's history, which is 91,000 votes. And why am I sharing that with you is, coming to my portfolio, education is a portfolio I chose. And when news came out that I'll be the education minister, a lot of people messaged me, well-wishers called me and said, don't do it. And the reason they said that is, there are a lot of teacher unions, any decision you take is exceptionally difficult to implement, there are a lot of hostels, God forbid anything happens, you will be held accountable. And I said, that's the exact reason. That is the reason I want to take this challenge up. India's future depends on quality of education. And it requires someone who's sort of seen the world, who understands the ingredients better, and actually go roll up the sleeves and say, yes, I'll bring about the change. So that's a portfolio that I asked. I really wanted to do it. And I'm really lucky that the Honorable Chief Minister chose me for it. IT electronics, I already thought education was a lot. I thought I wouldn't have that bandwidth or time, but the Honorable CM then realized that yes, education, tech sort of fits in very well. Again, IT, quantum is going to be important, so he aligned that. So the second portfolio is given by him. Third portfolio is real-time governance. That's again augments very well with technology, KPI-driven governance. So that came naturally with IT and electronics to me. So that's the background in that sense. Is it helping? Absolutely. I'm the chair of a group of ministers to create 2 million jobs. That's an electoral promise that we made. The vertical horizontal integration, education versus ecosystem importance is what I explained. So it really helps. In terms of my interaction with other chief ministers, yes, I've been lucky to interact with other chief ministers at Davos, meeting them at different occasions. So I learn a lot. I remain in touch with them. A lot of them are very kind to guide me when I have questions on certain things. So I think there is a generation of chief ministers today that I see who are willing to share ideas, who are willing to exchange views, or willing to nurture young talent, if I may. I think India is seeing a very new set of political leadership in that sense, and I believe that 2029 will be even more exciting because that change it's just started, and you'll see a lot more youngsters coming in and chief ministers who are willing to exchange ideas in that sense. So I think it will be very unfair to name a few and leave a few out.
Thank you. Any question? Yeah.
Sorry, one last question.
Okay, we'll have to keep it tight. We've been very loyal to the timekeeping so far.
6 minutes. Let's go.
Good afternoon, sir. We were talking about society. In that, one of the key projects of the Honorable CM is also the P4 or the Public-Private People Partnership. I found it to be very interesting, and there are a lot of talks around that and an integration of the family benefit management system. So I was just curious on how tech and FBMS is getting integrated into this entire ecosystem. And you talked about the electoral being able to understand all of this, the continuity, and this also involves often a topic about exclusions from certain government schemes, people who are oversaturating it. So how does this entire kind of thing get integrated into a one singular kind of a dream?
So that's where my third ministry comes into play, real-time governance. We have something called the data lake, where we don't look at individuals, but we look at family as a unit. So I look at family as a unit and we use data to understand ki family ka income kya hai, and then how do we sort of pull them out of that cycle of poverty, and how can we use various state or central government schemes to sort of target and pull them out of that cycle. So that's something that we've done, and that's where the P4 comes in. See, society has been kind on all of us. We've had access to good education, ecosystem, but there are a lot of people who haven't had it. So people who've had that advantage, who've used that benefit, we believe that they should contribute back to society. And it's not money. So I want to be very clear. It's not just about money. It's about counseling, nurturing. See, I am who I am because I had an amazing family ecosystem that stood by me during my tough times, right? They continue to guide me. I could have called, the gazillion times I called my father and said, this is a challenge. Can you guide me? Or my mother, or even my wife. Right? I would always take feedback. Not many have this. Not many have a family that is exposed as much as my family is. But then there's responsibility of me to adopt families. Go spend time with them. Give them this insight. If there's someone who wants to get better education, give them the lay of the land. Expose them. That is the actual strength of the P4 model. So using technology, of course, to use and sort of guide in terms of what are the schemes, benefits, that's one part. But the larger part is actually guiding them, motivating them, and giving them that opportunity to pull them out of that cycle of poverty. So that is what again makes P4 very unique. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Minister, you have been extremely generous with your time. You have been gracing here and gracing the event with your presence and your insights. I think it's very promising for all of us to hear from the minister and get a sense of positivity and hopefulness from the next gen leadership of the country, which will lead to much better outcomes for the country as a whole. So thank you so much for your attendance, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I request everyone to please be seated as we wait for the security apparatus to lead the minister out.